Welcome. My name is Sandra Parry and my business is SP Solutions Bangor. I provide virtual administration support to solopreneurs and small business owners in the UK and Ireland, but my specialism is transcription, document design, formal presentations and promotional presentation for downloading as short video clips. My services enable business owners to present their business more professionally online, and this is particularly useful in this current climate when communications are all on Zoom or similar platforms. During this short video, I will be showing you how to prepare a formal presentation for an online meeting and also a less formal presentation which will be used for promotional purposes such as social media. First, a few tips on the principles to remember when creating any type of presentation. The clip you just watched was prepared as a presentation option within Canva. Canva is a design software a lot of businesses use to create their promotional images for their social media. The previous clip was a collection of text and images created on presentation slides within this platform with animations and music added. Then it was downloaded as an MP4 video clip. It sounds complicated, but like anything, it's easy when you know how, and I will teach you. You could prepare a similar presentation for your business using your branding and your colour schemes. Then use it on your social media as a promotional clip. I always use the same music clip on all of my promo videos. Soon my connections on social media will all be associating this tune with SP Solutions. At least that's the hope anyway. It's catchy and it's upbeat and I absolutely love it, and my poor husband has heard it that many times he's now whistling it about the house. So let me put this all into context for you. The next clip is an example of a presentation that I created within Canva for my own social media and posted it sometime around mid-October. And this could be your business. So as you watch it, visualise your branding, your images, and just imagine that this is a promo clip for your business.
I've been told that the fire's old, and when stars are in light, the weeper, we would know. I've been told that the fire's old, and when stars are in light, the weeper, we would know. As a sliver of your mind, as a sliver of
The only downside to preparing presentations or video clips like these is that they are quite time consuming, and there is a lot of detail that goes into them. Some people would describe them as being too bitty or too fidgety, but I guess I just like bitty and fidgety, so I really enjoy doing them. Now we'll get into more of the tutorial on how to prepare these presentations, both promotional and also the more formal presentations that you would see on a Zoom meeting, for example. For this demonstration, I have created a 3-slide storyboard. I'll go through this in more detail in PowerPoint and Canva to give you an idea of how to prepare a presentation. Your storyboard is basically your draft of what you want to talk about and roughly how you want your finished presentation to look. The best way to do this is either hand-drawn, similar to what we're looking at now, or in a Word document, whichever you find more comfortable. As you become more experienced, you can actually use the slides themselves to draft out your storyboard, which is what I would normally do. And by the end of this demonstration, you should be able to complete a simple but very effective PowerPoint to showcase your business on any Zoom call with a potential client. This is particularly useful during this pandemic when there's so much uncertainty of whether we can do business normally or not. You'll also be able to create an MP4 video clip for promotion on your social media channels or send to your mailing list embedded in a newsletter, making it more interactive and more than just a reading circulation. First of all, I just want to show you that I have created a folder for Alison Matthews' presentation. So I have all my images, the copies of the storyboard, everything that I want to use is in this particular folder. And what we'll do now is open up PowerPoint. I keep all of my most used programs just down on the bottom taskbar. So for now, if we just open up a new presentation, a new blank presentation, this is a typical title page that we open up with 2 text boxes in it. And you just go in and put your content in. Supposed to be good at multitasking, but I can't seem to talk and type at the same time. So Zoom meeting. This is December 2020. And also I wanted to insert my logo. So if I go insert, sorry, I should have explained this at the beginning. This is the ribbon at the top that gives you all the options for your design, for including your different media formats, transitions, for example, from one slide to the next. You can have a fade in or fade out or something swiping across the screen. Animations for anything, any of the content that you have. You could have a title coming in first and then the next line coming in after that, but nothing else. So you could have your bullet points coming in one bullet point at a time. And the slideshow, obviously, you can go in and view what your finished PowerPoint product would be like at the end. Right, so if we go into insert and put my logo in, now, obviously that's massive. And these dots that you see on it are the options for you to make the image bigger or smaller. Obviously this one, we want to make it much smaller. So we'll bring that right down. Now you'll see these dotted lines appearing on the screen. The dotted line down the middle and the one across. These are to guide you for centering your information, keeping it aligned with other images or blocks of text. And that's very useful tool. You also have these design ideas coming down the side. So if you don't like what you have there, you'll have different options here. But we're going to leave design for now until we get all of the content in. So the next slide, you want to introduce a new slide. Sorry, I always click out of my slides when I'm going to the next one. And you'll see the line That one has the frame around it, so you know that's the one that you're working on, and if you click out of it, the line comes out at the bottom. So if we go to new slide and go to the layout, these are the different layouts for the different slides that you could have. So there's a multitude of those. And for each design that is in this particular tab, there will be different layouts as well. So just be careful with that, because sometimes a particular design might have the title at the bottom of the slide, which to me is just ridiculous, but who am I to say or complain about anything? Okay, so the next one, how to prepare professional presentations. Okay, so we need a draft of our content, which we've already discussed. You would have that on a storyboard or a Word document. To go back, these arrows will move your bullet points in and out of the margin. Create a folder for all content. I like to keep everything together as much as possible. Branding, images, text, music, and video. Okay, so that's the majority of what you would really want to be having on your presentation anyway. Next, we will create another title and content. This one we're going to change once we've created the design. I'm doing it deliberately this way to show you how to change your layout once you've actually created your presentation. So on this page, we're talking about top tips for PowerPoint. Okay, click down in here. First one, do not overfill your slides. If you've got too much content on one slide, it's difficult for your viewer to read, and it can just look messy and untidy. Oops, PROMPT. So use bullet points to prompt your topic. I'll show you a little bit later. There are notes pages that you can add to a PowerPoint presentation. So if you're giving a presentation, for example, to a Zoom call, or outside of COVID, if you're giving a presentation to a room full of people, you don't want everything that you're saying on the actual slide. So you would use bullet points to prompt a particular topic, and then you can use your notes pages, which has all the detail that you want to discuss for that particular slide. And that's just using notes. Keep your content spelled right, obviously. And try and keep it engaging. You want your audience, you don't want your audience to fall asleep halfway through it. Oops, spelling mistakes again. So you would have your mix of video formats and relevant images that you want to put in there to keep your content engaging. Keep your branding on point. And use larger text. Okay, so I would say don't go below size 16. You'll have a look at the font size here is mostly 28, and I wouldn't go below 16 at all, because once you go into 12 and 14, it just gets quite small. Even the smallest one here is size 20. So that's pretty good for the basics of wanting to create a good presentation. But all black and white is not very interesting, it's quite boring. So what you want to do is add a design to that. And if I click into a couple of these, you'll see how that changes the presentation. Now you can move things around as well. I mean, some of these are just horrendous. You can move your content around to suit the actual design. But this is just to let you see that it gives you an idea of how you can do your designs. And if you go over to the very end to the arrow here, you can arrow down and there's a multitude more of these. And you'll see the coloured squares are the colour schemes that are actually included on that particular design. But you can adjust the colour schemes as well. It's just really a matter of playing around with them. So for now, I'm going to use this one, which is what I would normally use, as it sort of coincides with my branding colours, and I'm quite happy with that. You can adjust your colours too, but we'll not go into that at the moment. It just makes it all a wee bit too complex. So I'm going to move my text boxes around deliberately so that you can see the dotted guidelines, and these just help you keep your content aligned correctly. And then I want this one centered. That's it, centered. Okay, so that's me happy with that one. This particular one looks fine, apart from the top where it has gone down onto 2 lines. And again, if you just click on the circle and hold it and stretch that out, that brings that onto a single line. This all looks okay. I'm quite happy with that. Down here, I want to add an image. So if I go to Insert, Pictures, this device, and add this image. Again, very large. Resize it. And put it there. Again, the dotted lines are keeping your image aligned with your text. Now, anytime you insert an image, it'll come up with this alternate text, and that's basically giving your image a title. This box has opened up on the right hand side, and you go in. See, this is a description of the object and its context for someone who is blind. So you would create your alternate text, which is basically a description of the image that you're putting in. And then close that down. Now, on your images, just make that a wee bit smaller and align it. So on your images, you can also, if you click it, you can go in up here. You'll see the different, these are different design formats that you can use for any of your images. You can see that's putting a frame around the image, a bigger frame, a different coloured frame. So there's any god's amount of stuff that's giving it a shadow, which makes it sort of stand out a wee bit. We'll leave that like that. I like using that one. Okay, so earlier on I said that we could change a design if we don't like the look of it. So what I'm going to suggest for this one, to make it look a wee bit different, if we go back into layout, we'll put in 2 text boxes. So if we have 2 content boxes, we can move the picture around so that we can get at this text and put it in here, and then bring the image back in, resize it, and that doesn't look centered in that to me, but possibly just, you could even just center it just there. Okay, so that it's touching the center of the page. So that's just another option. It's just a case of literally going in, play around with it, see what you think. And it's whatever you like and what you decide. But doing something like this is so much nicer than giving a black and white presentation on a Zoom call. It just makes the world of difference, and it really is worth that wee bit of effort. Okay, so now to view it, what we can do is go to the slideshow, view from the beginning, and clicking your mouse will move it on to the next page. Oops, sorry, missed a page. There you go. So your 3 pages look fine. And then down here, you have different instructions. You can move pages, and what we want to do is end the show. So if we end the show then and save it as a finished product. So save as Alison Matthews presentation, final presentation completed. Okay, and that's it. What we're going to do next is add a transition to the presentation, which basically affects the way it comes onto the screen. So if we go into transition, there are different ones that you can use. You can have like random bars, you can have, you know, a gentle reveal, you can have it sweeping in. But what we're going to do on this one is just select fade, and you would also select over on the right hand side here, apply to all. Now, if we then go to the slideshow and see how we look now. So this just alters the way the text changes it alters the way the slides come into the screen. And you can see that that is a more gentle, softer way of, you know, changing the slides. So I think that's about it now. I hope you've enjoyed that demonstration, and I hope you enjoy creating presentations of your own, and good luck.
Next, we're moving on to presentations prepared in Canva. They can be saved down as an MP4 and used as a perfect promotional video clip for your social media. It can also be used to send in an email to potential clients, or your before and afters could also be posted on social media rather than putting up just plain photographs.
Finally, we are going to go through a Canva presentation, and I'm just going to show you how we do that. But first of all, we're going to look at the actual software application and some of the toolbars that appear within it. Now, first of all, I want to tell you about the different options with Canva. You can either choose the free option or the pro option, and obviously the free option is free, but the pro option gives you much more flexibility and usability, and there are a lot more features within it. I have actually chosen to go with pro because I use Canva every day. I use it all the time for my social media, and I just thoroughly enjoy creating all sorts of different stuff in Canva. So it's a very, very useful tool in my business, and it is definitely worth me paying that little bit extra to have the extra features. Now, when you log on to your account in Canva, this would be the dashboard that you would see. And as you can see, there's a toolbar down the left hand side. If you click in here, there's another toolbar in here, and you also have a toolbar across the bottom here, and they're basically all the same. Everything that you see in this one, in here, and down along here are basically all the same. So there's different ways of getting into what it is that you actually want to do. So recommended for you. These are like recommended. So if we go to the recommended section, we have Instagram posts, logo, Instagram story, presentations, desktop wallpaper. These actually are all ones that I have used very recently, but you can create all sorts of stuff in Canva. And if you just have a look through that when you're in the software, you'll get a really good idea of the scope of work that you can actually do in here. By selecting the social media option, then you get all of your social media, Instagram story and post, same with Facebook, YouTube channels, bloggers. I mean, it is just never ending what you can actually do within Canva, and it is a very useful tool for any business. Now, if we go down, all your designs, these are just all the ones that I've been working on, shared with you. So if you're collaborating with someone on a design, then they would come up here, and you would both be able to see things and work on things, change things, etc. The brand kit, now I believe the brand kit comes with the Pro feature, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this. So I have my logos in here, my colour schemes and my font choices. Now this means that it's so much easier for me to create anything in my brand. As you'll see, whenever we go up to the workspace, my brand kit is automatically in there, which is really handy. The content planner is also relatively new for Canva Pro, and this is where we can schedule content for social media. It's possible to schedule for Facebook groups, LinkedIn, Twitter, and a lot more, but unfortunately it doesn't yet do Instagram. You can create teams within your Canva, so if there are 3 or 4 of you in the one business using the design software, then you can all sort of collaborate together in this section. And then all your folders, again, it's just another way of accessing all my own stuff. So if I go in here, all my designs come up again. Okay, and then you have the usual trash. That's where you just throw all the rubbish, the stuff that doesn't work and the stuff that you don't need, stuff that you're not using anymore, older stuff. So I could go right down here and just throw a lot of that stuff out. But I choose to keep it for now. Now, if we go on to the next stage and actually go in to our workspace. So what we want to do is create a design, and we are doing a presentation for this demonstration. Okay, so now we're in the presentation workspace. Down the side, on the left hand side, you'll see all the different options for presentations. There are a multitude to choose from, and each of them, you'll see down here, you have like one of 16 pages. This one, now some of these, if you choose, sorry, I've just reminded myself there, if you choose a free option, you will see free coming down on the right hand bottom corner of any of the options that you're looking at. But if you see a little crown shape, then that means that you need to be on Canva Pro to be able to use that particular design. I have all of these open to me because obviously I'm using Canva Pro. So the toolbar down the left here, we have obviously we have all the presentation templates here, and uploads. In this section you'll be able to upload any of your own media. So if you've taken video clips or photographs of anything, or if someone has sent you a logo image that you're going to use, you would upload it in here. So all your own uploads are in this section. In the photos section, this is where you would look for stock photos to use in your design. There are just thousands of photographs in here on just about any topic that you can think of. So there's plenty to choose from there. And as you can see, I've recently used a typewriter. I did a social media post for transcription, and this was the image that I actually used. Okay, so further down then we have elements. So there's different elements that you can use. You can add shapes. Now you'll see in the presentation that we use, there's the main desktop, but there's the main workspace, but there would be another box in a different colour, and this is where you get those shapes to do that. That will all become clear whenever we actually get into the presentation that we're going to use. Frames are used for images. So if you want to add an image into your presentation but you don't want the image to take up the whole workspace, you would use a frame, and all you have to do then is drag and drop your image into that frame and it'll fill that space. You can then select the image and move it around within the frame so that you get exactly which part of the image that you want within it. Text is fairly self-explanatory. These are headings and smaller text, but there's different text designs that you can use and text effects that you can use, and I have made use of these as well in my presentations, and it's just very useful to have those options there. It just saves you a lot of time. In styles, they would have, so these are like preset styles with preset fonts and colour schemes. Now you will see, because I have a branding kit, all of my preset styles and colours are at the top, and they'll always be there handy for me to use. Music, this is where you would select your piece of music. Now you can go down through this again, there are loads to choose from. So there's plenty going on. This one at the top is the one, and you'll see it's a pro option. I love this, and this is what I put on most of mine. In fact, I put it on all of mine. So it's just really a matter of going in and exploring yourself and see what you like and what you want to create within your design. So we just carry on with the design option now. So if we go back up to templates and we choose this. So in here you have 13 pages. Preset design, really handy, very useful for creating your own presentation or promo clip. Now what you would normally do is just apply all 13 pages. You don't have to use the 13 pages, but it makes sense just to apply those anyway. And then it's easy to get rid of the ones that you don't actually want to choose. And it's worth remembering as well, within these slides there is all sorts of tips for creating presentations as well. So do read those, because they're there for your use and they're there for your guidance to help you. Now if we just go right up to the top, I'll show you now how to change things. So we're going to change the colour of the cream bit, for example. So if we go over to this section here, this is the colour box for the background, and I'm just going to click in there and change that to my own branding. Now these are my branding colours, and that's the benefit of having the pro section as well, because my brand kit will always be visible here and I'll never have to go looking for it or key in the colour code, or it's just here all the time. Now, and this is typical of what I was saying earlier, where you can create another box that you want to show in a different colour. So I'm just going to highlight this one and change it again to one of my branding colours. And then the text, we will change, to my business name, and just change the colour to white so that it stands out more. And we'll do the same down here. And we will change the colour of this one. Oh gosh, I do this all the time. There we go. Now, so what I want to do is make this slightly smaller, because I want my full business name on the one line. So if I make that smaller and then stretch this back a little bit, that brings it all onto one line. Now we can also move, you'll see the guidelines coming up as well around the screen there, the same as we had in PowerPoint. So I'm wanting to bring this down just a little bit, because I want to put my logo in as well. So if I go to uploads, then I can go to my logo, and again, same as PowerPoint, you can use these little catch points to resize your image. Oops. And then bring it up. And make that a wee bit smaller. And then I want it centered. There we go. Now this image, obviously I want rid of that. It's useless for my design, and I want to put a photograph of me in there. Not that I like photographs of myself, but because it's relevant to this particular presentation that I want to do. And again, the guidelines are helping us keep everything in line. Okay, there is a wee line in there that I want to take out as well because it's not really visible. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so then you go down to the next page. Now I'm not going to go through all these pages. I've prepared one, I've completed one earlier, and what we'll do is just go through that. But what I want to do here is show you how you can delete a slide if you don't want to use it. You'll see along here, you can add notes to your presentation, you can move your slides up and down, you can copy a slide, or you can delete one. So we'll just delete. It's so easy to delete, and then you're left with what it is that you actually want to use. And you can move your slides up or down, so we can change the layout where they appear. So that's all very easy. Again, it's just a matter of going in and having a little play with it yourself. Now, to animate what it is, to animate your slides, sorry, I need to make that just a wee bit bigger. To animate your slides, then you just select this, and these are the different animations that you can use within your presentation. Okay, now I normally use the pan. It's a very soft visual impression of your content coming into your screen, and I tend to use that a lot. I just like how it looks. Now, when you're using an animation, you're also given a time, so the time between each slides, and you need to make sure that whenever you're doing that you allow enough time for additional text. So if you have more text on one slide than another, you might need to leave 9 seconds between that slide and the next one to give your audience enough time to actually read the content that's on it. Okay, so if we leave that there for now, I will go and show you the one that I prepared earlier. This is the completed presentation that I did earlier, and you'll see that I have all my branding on it now, all the images that I wanted on it. I've put the animation on it, which is the pan animation, and I've set the slide timings to 6 on this particular one, and the music is on it as well. So I'll just scroll down so that you can see the rest of the slides that I completed, changing the image here, for example, and what was on the previous one. Kept the actual design but changed the colours and the text, with my own business name up the side here. And on this slide it just gives details of some of my services with a few separate images that I wanted to put in, and my contact details at the end. So this is the finished product, and I have saved that. So what you could do when you're asking to download it, you're given different options in here. So what you can do, well, there's no point obviously in downloading an image because there's more than one image in there, but you can download it as a PDF standard or a PDF print. A PDF standard you can use as a slideshow, so you can actually present your presentation in here instead of PowerPoint, but it was just, I did the video for the two different so that you could see the different types of platforms available out there for doing presentations. And what I do is the MP4 video clip, because I like to use these as social media posts to advertise my business. So we will download this one as an MP4 video clip and select download. Takes a bit of time for the download process to to go through, so we won't wait for that, and I'll come back to you with the download in my folder. So the download process is now complete, and what we need to do now is just click into it, show it in the folder. Well, this is what I do, and then I cut and paste and put it into the folder or the destination that I actually want it to finish up in. Now what we can do here is play it so that you can see the finished product.
And when stars are in line, though we burn, we would.
So that's everything from me. I'm Sandra at SP Solutions Bangor. I hope you enjoyed the demonstrations both on PowerPoint and on Canva, and I hope you enjoy exploring them and playing with them and coming up with new ideas and new promotional video clips for your own business. But if it's too time consuming for you, or you don't have time to do these, then you know where to come to. I'm more than happy to do them for you. So good luck for the future, and I wish you well.